What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Dudes Who Bet Daily, June 1st, 2023. Happy NBA Finals Day, guys. We have a finals game finally here. We got to wait a couple more days for the NHL to drop the puck for the first time, but we get a little bit of Nuggets and Heat action, so we kind of have to start there. But an interesting market today specifically. We saw some buyback on the Heat, so the Nuggets down to minus 425 as the series favorite. Some of the ancillary markets I actually think are a little bit bettable now, which is kind of interesting. I bet Nuggets to win game one, win the series minus 225 for a decent amount of money on Monday night. That was up to minus 300. It's back down to minus 250. So if it's out there, I still like Nuggets win game one and win the series at minus 250. Aaron, we got minus 9 for the Nuggets tonight. Total sitting at 219.5. What do you do with this? Do you believe in this Heat team, or are you still a skeptic?
I believe in them. I don't think you could be a skeptic now that they're in the actual finals, but I just have a hard time going one way or another with this one tonight. This is kind of a watch game for me. You know, you look at the Nuggets, boy, anytime you lay 9 points, that's a lot. And I don't care how good they are at home and this and that. I mean, this is the NBA Finals. Winning by more than 9 is going to be tough. I don't really want to lay that. I have to think the Heat aren't going to play their absolute best game tonight, though. It just feels like a spot where they might kind of, I'm not going to say get run out of the building, but they might kind of get ambushed a little bit. So that has me a little bit weary as well. I think the under 219.5 is kind of my strongest play in here. I don't really want to side because of the points, because of the, you know, if you're playing money line, that's almost impossible unless you're taking the Heat. So I think the under 219.5 is the best play.
It's going to be interesting to see what Miami does defensively against this Denver team. Denver, number 2 in the NBA against the zone, number 1 in the NBA against the zone with Jokic in. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of zone, which is really what cracked Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. Bam Adebayo has been terrible against Jokic, so I'm not sure if we see some Kevin Love now magic, if he's the one who tries to play Jokic. But if that's the case, that means Caleb Martin's not on the floor. He was the best player in these conference finals, so I think you kind of have to find a way to play him. It seems like a tough matchup defensively here for Miami to kick this thing off.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they like. Who does Jimmy Butler stick on? Does he stick on Aaron Gordon? Does he stick on Michael Porter Jr.? Like, where do you go? And if you do that, like if Butler goes on Gordon, which I think makes the most sense, then you've got Caleb Martin, who was great, but he's also 6'5". Like, he's my height. He's our height, Mike. Like, that guy's. Michael Porter Jr. is 6'10". Like, that guy's going to be able to shoot over the top of him pretty well. As far as a player prop, I do like Michael Porter Jr. over 22.5 points and rebounds combined for the game. His last 4 games all against the Lakers, he went over 22.5 for that. And he actually has 5 of his last 6 games in the playoffs. He's been that way. Points specifically, he hasn't always been there. He tends to get into the paint and kind of dish it out a little bit. And because it's game 1, we don't know what the defensive matchups are going to look like. I shy away from straight points bets on Porter Jr., but I love the prop of over 22.5 for Michael Porter Jr. for points and rebounds.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Heat rebound. They've been a very good rebounding team all year, but mainly because of the zone that they played. And that's something I think that they're going to be taken out of here. So it'll be interesting to see what the battle on the boards is. Aaron, can I interest you in some alt lines?
Okay, let's hear them.
Nuggets minus 13.5, plus 170. Nuggets minus 19.5, plus 315. If I was going to play this game on a side, I think the Nuggets have a huge edge here with Miami coming off of the Heats. No S. With Miami coming off of Game 7, having to fly across the country, go and play at altitude against a defense where I don't think Spoelstra is going to be able to make adjustments in Game 1. Game 2, I think, is where you see it. I think if the Nuggets cover the 9, they're probably winning by 15 to 20. And so I would much rather play a plus 170 bet and lay 13.5 or plus 315 and lay the 19.5 than I would just lay the straight 9.
I would much rather just not try to force it and just
That's
watch
fair
it,
too.
right? Honestly, you're getting paid a little bit more than what you should, but at the same time, what if they win by 10? You're going to be so pissed off, But listen, you might be right. It could be a situation where it's a blowout if it gets out of hand, and then you're just hoping to hit that number right on, or obviously go a little over it. But so, no, I'm not interested in those, to be completely honest.
Well, poo on you. All right, let's head over to the Major League Baseball then here. Go over 3 games here before we get into some horse racing. The Brewers taking on the Blue Jays. Blue Jays minus 185. Total sitting at 7.5. The reason this is here is because I really wanted to play the Brewers, but I did not. They're plus 160. I couldn't get there. I think they're the right side, but I think the price is close enough that I'm not going to push it. Magic, what do you think of this spot?
This was a tough one for me because I did look at this one for as far as the over-under goes. I'm with you. I would lean with the Brewers on this one. The Blue Jays have actually been, when they've been favored, have been a little disappointing this year as far as the money line goes. Peralta being on the mound for the Brewers would give you hope that that the Brewers would be able to at least be competitive in this spot. They're 4-0 in his the over is 4-0 in Peralta's last 4 starts overall. So he's letting up some runs, but they're also getting some runs in. I'm leaning very slightly to the over on this, which is a set of 8. But you can also get, what if you do plus 1.5 run line on the Brewers?
I'm not a big plus 1.5 guy. I've never really liked betting it because usually it's juiced out a little bit too much for me. It's ironic because I do like the minus 1.5 specifically for road teams. Plus 1.5 here is minus 130.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't know. If you're getting 7.5, I think I would take the over on this game if you're going to bet it.
Aaron, were you tempted by the Brewers today?
Yeah, I was. I looked at it for a while. I ended up passing on it. The pitching matchup isn't totally ideal for the Brewers, and that's kind of where if you're going to bet this game, I would go with the Brewers because the plus 160 is very tempting. I personally am not going to do it. I ended up just staying away. I just have a feeling the Blue Jays at home are going to get enough runs to win this game today, and I didn't want to go Blue Jays minus 1.5, minus 178, anything like that. So I ended up staying away. I'm with you, though. I was very tempted to take the Brewers in the spot.
Yeah, I want to.
Honestly, I'm just worried we're going to get to the 6th inning and it's like 5-3 Blue Jays. And if it is, I just don't see the Brewers coming back and winning. I think the key, you've got if the Brewers can keep this game tight 6th, 7th inning, then it kind of leans towards them a little bit. But I'm a little worried that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, let's jump over to the Rockies and the D-backs. We talked about this game yesterday. D-backs minus 165, total sitting at 9.5. Where we all like the D-backs, we're trying to figure out how to bet them. I ended up betting the team total over. That was fun. They flew over it. Won easily as well. I think they have an edge again today. The money is coming in on the Rockies here. I think they have an edge again today, but I like the over. This was almost my best bet of the day, over 9.5. These two teams both like to put up runs. Both of these pitchers are not very good. Both of them also top 5 in the majors hitting against, I believe it's righty pitchers here that are going today. Yeah, 2 righties going today. They're number 1 and number 6 in the majors hitting against righties. I think this thing flies over that 9.5 total. Aaron, what do you got here?
Yeah, I think I totally agree with the over on the total. I think it goes way over. Diamondbacks playing pretty good baseball. Rockies can hit. I mean, they haven't really in this series, but usually they can hit the ball a little bit. This is one, again, I almost played the Rockies. But at the end of the day, you sit down and you go, I don't trust the pitching matchup. I know Davies has struggled in a few games for Arizona, but Seabold for Colorado, he's not great. I wish Colorado had a little bit better of a pitcher on the mound tonight starting. It's the same situation. I'm afraid they're going to get behind early, and I don't like road teams when they're behind early all that often. So I do think the over is the right play.
Yeah, I looked at the Rockies, but I landed on the over for similar reasons. I just didn't trust the Rockies pitcher there. Magic, what do you got here?
Make it a sweep. If you're going to bet this game, bet the over. You talked about the pitching matchup and how this should be a pretty hot game from that perspective. Corbin Carroll, 3 games so far in this series, 22-year-old rookie, 5 for 10 with a homer, a couple stolen bases. He's doing well. But what's going to help the Rockies here is Charlie Blackmon's supposed to be back in the lineup. He was off for bereavement for a while, but he is supposed to come back. He's normally at the top of the order for him. So far this season, hitting .287 with 5 homers and 23 RBIs. So if you put him back into the at the top of the batting order, it should be able to help everything get going for the Rockies from an offensive standpoint. And when you're facing a pitcher like Davies, who's not looking so strong right now, I think that's a good one to go. I wonder what the first 5 over/under would be on this too, because neither of these pitchers likes to make it beyond like 3 or 4 innings.
First 5 total for that game is going to be 5.5. So they did juice it up a full run.
Yep. Okay.
That's interesting.
They agree with you, Magic.
Yeah, that's a really good look because the books agree.
If you look at the first 5 team totals, it's 2.5 for both sides, plus 120 on the Rockies. They just adjusted to -1.5, minus 160 on the total for the Rockies' first 5. D-backs are 2.5 runs over minus 125.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's head over to Aaron's favorite series of the week. The Reds taking on the Red Sox. Reds have cashed at plus 155 and plus 150 the last 2 days. They're minus 165 today. Total sitting at 9. And my boy Hunter Green is on the mound for the Reds. Hunter Green, who was 30-1 to win the Cy Young and then sucked early in the season. He's gotten a little bit better the last couple starts, Aaron.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play the Reds 3 days in a row. That's where I lost it. Listen, the Reds have been a gift the last 5 games. I did not play them the first game in Chicago. I did play them in games 2 and 3 in Chicago. They won. I played them both games here in Boston. They won. My dad and I were talking about this on our show yesterday. Sometimes when you got a streak with the Reds like that, you see a pitching matchup like this today, you go, well, I'm not going to go to the well one time too much or one time too often. I'm going to go Red Sox in this spot. I'm not betting the game because I'm not laying minus 165, but I feel like this is the game the Sox kind of get back on track today and get a win. The Reds are tempting, though. I mean, they can sweep this series. They've got a good young team. But listen, if you've watched the Reds team, like I have for the last 5 games, believe it or not, never thought I would say that sentence, but if you've watched the Reds team, you know the bullpen is not great. And what the Reds have been able to do in this stretch is get really good starting pitching to stretch those innings to where the bullpen didn't come in. I don't think that's going to happen today. If you get to the pin, you're going to beat the Reds. So that's why I took the Red Sox.
See, I love this, Aaron. You just set me up so well. Give me the Reds' first 5 plus 145. I think that's the way to attack this because the bullpen is trash. They're bad. And this Reds team, by the way, started out 7-17. Do you know what their record is now?
They're 26-29.
They are 26-29. Anyone want to do the math on the fly? That's 22-12. They have been playing very good baseball. They've won 5 straight. Hunter Green struck out 10 plus in his last 2 games. He's been rolling. I think he pitches well again today. I don't think he gives up more than 2 in the first 5. I'm getting plus 145 in my mind then that the Reds score 2 or more. I like that number. So give me Reds first 5 plus 145. Magic, what do you got?
If you think that both the pitchers will do well today, which I think so as well, I think the under is the way to go on this. Chris Sale, to start the year, the first 3 starts, he had 11.25 ERA. Really bad. He had 25 base runners in 12 innings. Really bad. Since then, he's 4-0 in his last 5 starts with a 2.23 ERA, striking out 35, walking only 4 in 32 1/3 innings. He's doing much better. It seems like the Chris Sale that was an all-star for like most of the 2010s. He had 5 innings of really nice baseball against Arizona Diamondbacks in his last start. I would say the under is the play here. And I know yesterday I was all over the over because I thought that the market overcorrected. I think we've got 2 very sneaky good pitchers in this spot, despite what their ERAs and their whips are showing right now.
So total right now sitting in this game at 9.5. Can I interest you in an under 5 first 5, Magic? Then you get to avoid the Reds bullpen.
Boy, that feels, that's a little bit. You could interest me a little bit. What, am I getting plus money on it?
Minus 120.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. I think it's a good play. I watched Sale pitch against the Diamondbacks in his last start. The Diamondbacks came into that game hot, and he absolutely shut the door on them. So
yep.
I think it's another really good play if you want to do that under for the first 5.
Chris Sale,
fuck it, let's do it.
Chris Sale, 34 years old. This has been his worst season in a while. He's not pitched this poorly since 2019. But as Magic said, he's pitched significantly better this month. Just 5 walks. I think that has been the big difference for him. He had 10 in the first 3 starts of his season. So Sale trending up. I'm still taking the Reds first 5. I think Hunter shuts down this Boston offense, and hopefully we can get a couple runs early to cash that at plus 145. All right, Belmont race number 8. Scratch out the 1A, scratch out the 3. I thought this was a very interesting turf sprint here. You've got a couple horses that are ones that we know well, I'll say. You've got Gunnett in here, who's coming in for second off the claim for Linda Rice, who she claimed this horse herself. Comedy Town, who ran second to Karatari a couple back, is back in here second off the layoff. You got Slipstream for Christophe Clement, who's in here, but your favorite is the one horse, Midday Image. Jacobson and Irad Ortiz ran really well last time out at Laurel, popped a 92 buyer first out as a 7-year-old, first time in the Davidson barn. Aaron, where are you going here?
Yeah, this was a weird race. I was surprised by the choice of this one. This doesn't have a Somich written all over it. You must really love somebody here. Spoiler alert, we'll see. Listen, I went number 6, Heaven Street on top in this one. Ran in a stakes right here at Belmont Park last time out. Got third, only beaten a length and 3/4. And listen, I think that was a nice effort. That was second off the layoff. Now we're getting third off the layoff, and we're getting Flavian Pratt aboard today for this one. So I thought Heaven Street at 7-2 made a lot of sense here. I'm going to take a small shot with the 6.
I don't mind it. Lost to Yes and Yes and Anaconda in that last race. Yes and Yes has been very, very good. Anaconda just missed a big Everest 2 back. Ran very well. Got a 98 buyer for winning that race. So don't hate it. But I do really like someone in this race. I really like Gunnett. I think the 5 is going to win today. 6-1 on the morning line. Everything Linda Rice has been putting out has been firing. I like the switch over to the turf course. I've talked for a long time how I do not like Aston horses on the turf course. They improve when they go to other barns. Today is Gunnett's day. You ready for that, Aaron? All right, Magic, who you got?
How am I supposed to follow that up? Listen, I like the 6 as well. Aaron talked about. The horse also, Aaron, is cutting. One thing I agreed with everything you said is also cutting back to 6 furlongs. And last time out, the stakes was 7 furlongs and it got caught late. I think the cut back to 6 will be helpful here. I also really like the 1 Midday Image. It's chalky, but it's hard to go against what this horse has done. Winner of 2 straight, including last out, going 5.5 at Laurel. Irad is going to be aboard, and that's a huge factor to me. So I would take the 1. It's really chalky, but I like the 6 that Aaron had as well.
I kind of like the 4, 5, 7 the most. I think if Price wins this race, I think it's going to be a horse that you don't expect. Slipstream, I wouldn't sleep on either for Clement, although Rosario's aboard. But the pace setup should be there, even with this few horses. You have 3 that want the lead. So should be a very, very interesting 8th race at Belmont. That's why I picked it, Aaron, because I like Gunnett. And I think it's going to be a fun race.
I don't know that you should have picked that one because you liked Gunnett. I'm very worried about this one for Gunnett. By the way,
Gunnett every time.
What's that?
I rarely pick Gunnett.
Oh, I know, and I'm shocked that you've picked him today. Completely shocked. And I was going to say I loved the 3 as well, but the 3 is scratched. So
yeah, Linda Rice has literally been on a heater and been winning. She's 25% at Belmont right now, and she's not winning at 6-5, 4-5. She's winning at 4-1, 7-1, 9-5, or 9-2. Like she's winning at prices there right now.
Yeah, the owner claimed this horse for 62.5 last out, or 2 back at Keeneland. Last time out, he did exactly what he always did, though. But it was on the dirt. Turned for home, looked like he was going to win, and just messed around. Maybe the turf makes him not mess around. I don't know.
Tapit, Magla de Oro. The turf breeding is there. He's running Kentucky Downs and Churchill Downs twice on the turf. His buyers were as good or better than the dirt buyers right around the same time. There's talent there. And now you have a trainer that doesn't suck on the turf. And she owns him and is cutting him back. It's today. It's today. I can't wait for him to lose, and then you guys make fun of me tomorrow. All right, let's jump into the best bets here. Aaron, we'll kick it off with you. Tell us about Lizardo.
Oh boy, like Magic said, I don't know how to follow that. I hope Gunnett wins. That would be a feel-good story that horse racing needs right now. A trainer that's not
especially for Linda.
Yeah, exactly.
Justice for Linda.
As soon as I said that, I was like, "There's so many punchlines we've got now." I thought it was dumb. All right, yeah. Marlins plus 100 for me. It's actually the only play I'm going to make all day. I hated the board today, but I am going to take a shot with the Marlins playing really good ball right now. Lizardo pitching extremely well. I like him quite a bit. We've talked about the Marlins. You know, these pitchers, everybody goes for their ace when he's pitching, but these other guys they've got are pretty decent. Lizardo's one of them. Taking on the Padres today, I don't know. The Padres are just a very, very disappointing team. They really haven't shown a lot of signs of getting it turned around. I'm sure there's going to be a spot in the season where they do, and maybe we can ride that upswing. But I don't think it's going to be today. Musgrove, I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's just the run-of-the-mill type of guy. So if Lizardo shows up and pitches a good game, I think the Marlins get it done. Plus 100 was the kicker. I love the plus money on them. So give me the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, they swept the Angels. They've split these two with the Padres. Playing pretty good baseball. And Luzardo, I think, is their second best pitcher. His whip is a little bit higher this year, but if he's able to get that down, I think it'll be a good thing. 25-year-old who is one of the highly touted prospects on the A's before heading over to the Marlins. All right, I'm going to go with the Guardians today. Give me the Guardians plus 120. I looked at this game long and hard. It's a really interesting split. So you got two righties on the mound. These two teams versus right-handed pitchers are 25th and 24th in Major League Baseball. So I also kind of like the under 8 here. The really interesting part, though, is when you dissect those stats more, the Twins have 1,500 at-bats versus righties. They have struck out 450 times in those 1,500 at-bats. Almost one-third of them are strikeouts. They're fourth in the majors in homers against righties. So they have 60 homers in those at-bats. The starting pitcher, and this was where the kicker for me here, the starting pitcher for the Guardians today is Tanner Bibby. Tanner Bibby has given up 2 home runs in 31 1/3 innings. So he does not give up home runs. That's the only way Minnesota scores runs against righties. I think he has the edge in the pitching matchup. The Guardians are actually starting to hit the ball. You got to remember that is a terrible park in Cleveland to play in April. I'm not going to take their offensive struggles too seriously early, specifically because they always struggle early in the season offensively. So I'll take the plus money here, plus 120 with the Guardians. I also kind of like the under, but I'm going to take the plus 120 with the Guardians.
Good pick.
Thank you. All right. There are 2 games I like, the over and this one. I'm going to go with the team this today instead of the total. Magic, what do you got?
I like the under in that in the Guardians game as well too. That wouldn't be a bad play there. All right, I got under for the Phillies and Mets. I got it at 9, and then I'm looking right now. It's already dropped down to 8.5. But this is a situation where the Phillies are slumping, and if you remember last year, through May 31st, the Phillies were 21-29, and they somehow rebounded to win the pennant in the NL last year. This year, they're 25-30 by through the end of May. I don't see how they're going to bounce back here. You certainly aren't going to bounce back, get that started against a pitcher like Max Scherzer. The last time out against Colorado Rockies, he had 7 innings, got 1 run. I also like the pitcher for the Phillies here, Taijuan Walker. Both of these pitchers can go quite deep, and I think that's going to be the factor for how this ends up staying under. Last time the last game, Mark Canha was slumping. He's batting .246 all through the month of May. Hits a 2-run homer, gets a 2-run single, and then that's how you get a 4-1 win for the Mets. Otherwise, that game's a 1-0. If he goes back into any kind of a slump, I think that game might have been a slight aberration for him. There's just not producing much runs here, and so I really like the pitching matchup here in terms of it being a very low-scoring game. Walker, his last game was against the Braves, 6 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs. The game ended up being 6-4, but you had the Braves versus the Mets. Like, who's got the better offense? We know it's the Braves. So I'm going to take the under on this. I still think 8.5 might be a decent play, but I loved it at under 9.
Yeah, we're going to find out early how we do both Aaron and Magic's games. First pitch, 10:10 a.m. Pacific. So we're kicking off here in about 40 minutes. So that should be fun. And you got a nice little 12:40 over with the D-backs Rockies. And then I'll clean it up with my pick here with the Guardians plus 120. No Papa Dude today. He's out teaching America how to drive. And so he did not have time to put a parlay in because
D-backs Mets parlay for Papa Dude. That's what he texted me.
He would have taken the D-backs, 100%.
Yes.
I think it was going to be Astros.
I agree.
I think he would have been D-backs Astros. I think that's the parlay we would have locked in there.
Yep.
Let's just find out, what would the mythical Papa Dude parlay pay? D-backs Astros mythically pays. Well, actually, it really pays plus 150. So the mythical Papa Dude parlay, D-backs Astros plus 150.
If that wins, we're counting it because I think that would have been the play.
I would say there's like an 80% chance that was going to be his play today.
Yes.
Actually, he may have taken the Heat plus 9. That would be the only other thing I could see him taking, because he did like the Heat quite a bit in that Boston-Miami series. So we went to that 5 times in the 7 games, I believe it was.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be shocked if his play was Heat and plus 9. But the mythical Papa Dude parlay is going to be Astros Diamondbacks today. Let's go over the real best bets for the day. Somich taking the Guardians plus 120. Aaron, the Marlins plus 100. Magic, the Phillies, and Mets under a 9 total. 3-1 yesterday. Great job by the guys on the stream here. 3-0 day for us. Up $394 for the year. It's been fun betting baseball. I'm not going to lie. I am enjoying this right now. Yes. It really has. Right, Aaron?
Yes, I'm having some of the most fun I've ever had in my life.
It was really sad the A's weren't playing today. Anybody else? Never thought I'd say that. Real sad they're not playing today.
Just back to the double result. A's were minus 125 yesterday. Or I'm sorry, the Braves were minus 125 double result yesterday. They were minus 280 in the game, or 240 in the game. Just throwing that back out there. Make sure you check those double results against the A's. All right, we're going to sign off here. Good luck with all your bets across the horse and sports and horse racing world. I'll get that right one of these days. Everybody, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. More winners. Lots of fun. Have a good one, guys.
Right here.